Welcome, friends. Welcome back to the kitchen. Welcome back to another episode of What Was on Sale at the Grocery Store Today. Walked into the grocery store and there was a big display bin of broccoli. I thought, I'll buy some broccoli. Don't know what I'll do with it, but it's always good to have some broccoli in the fridge. And as I walked around, I was thinking about various things that I could do with it. And then they had sausage on sale. It had a 30% off sticker on it. And so Julie and I every fall take a whole hog shoulder, cut it up, grind it up, spice it, make sausage, and freeze it for the winter. We didn't do that this year. We were away, and then we were away, and then we were away, and it just didn't happen. So we didn't have any sausage in the freezer. I thought, okay, I'm going to buy that sausage. I've got a method that I can make a really quick pasta supper. And so this is a method, and we'll get to what makes this a method rather than a recipe in a little bit. So in this dish pan that has a good fitting lid, the lid is super important. I'm going to heat that up. Okay, the oil looks like it's got a bit of shimmer on it, so I've cut up the sausage, made it into, rough little meatballs, and we're going to fry that and brown them. Okay, while these fry, we'll talk about what makes this a method and all of the variations. A lot of people on the internet these days call this the risotto method of making pasta. And that makes sense. I think at some point, maybe a couple of years ago, I did a recipe like this, or did probably exactly the same thing a couple of years ago, because it's something that I make often, and probably use that term, the risotto method. And what makes it work is the ratio between your liquid component, the stock, the water, the wine, the combination, and the weight of your pasta. This is one of the only recipes where I will actually weigh something. So I have 300 grams of pasta. I usually use bowtie, but today I'm using these little shells because that's what was in the cupboard. And then I have 750 mils of liquid, of chicken stock, roughly 3 American cups, just a little bit over 3 American cups. Then I'm going to add about a cup of wine. We're going to deglaze the pan with the wine, but half a cup of that liquid is going to be driven off. This amount of liquid, that amount of pasta, you know it's going to cook. The pasta is going to cook perfectly. There's going to be just enough liquid left over at the end that we can put in some cream to make a sauce, a really nice sauce. That's why it works. You could use any protein. This could be chicken strips. It could be little pieces of beef. It could be ground beef, ground pork, ground chicken, ground turkey. It could be different types of sausages. This could be any kind of protein. And then you get to your veg component. I'm using frozen peas and the broccoli. Could just as easily be frozen broccoli than fresh broccoli. Could be corn, could be edamame, it could be any vegetable that you like to have in your pasta. Spinach, kale. If you're into kale, put kale in. You could have some mushrooms in it. And I know that there's varying amounts of water content in all of those different vegetables. It's not that different that it's going to make a huge difference. As long as you get the big amount right, everything's going to work out. And so you've got infinite variability. What do you see at the grocery store? You can come home, you can whip this together really quickly and put a nutritious dinner on the table. And it'll look like you tried really hard, but we know you didn't. So, this is looking pretty good. I'm going to put in some chopped onion at this point. Of course, you could also throw in some garlic at this point if you wanted garlic. Seasoning. I am counting on that sausage delivering all of the seasoning. I know this brand, it's a pretty good brand, lots of flavor in it, and it will carry the dish. If you were dealing with a different type of protein, you would want to season it. And this is the point where you would be adding some seasoning. And that could be anything. Anything that tickles your fancy, anything that you know your family likes. Now it's time to deal with the wine. And I'm not trying to be facetious. I live in Ontario. This is Ontario supermarket wine. If you know Ontario, you know what I'm talking about. It's not top shelf wine. This is a blended Sauvignon Blanc. I read the back. It's made from wine sourced from around the world, blended on Ontario, and put in a bottle. It's not even from a winery. It's just from a distributor. But I know that it works in this dish. It's inexpensive. Ticks that box. It's crisp. It's got a nice acidity. It's pretty dry. So it works extremely well in this. And those are the attributes you're looking for in the wine component. If you don't want to use wine, you don't want to cook with wine for whatever reason, it's no problem. You could just use an extra cup of chicken stock to deglaze the pan and then dump in just a little bit, maybe a couple tablespoons of vinegar, your favorite vinegar, just to bring some of that acidity. You could also use verjus if you can get your hands on it. Verjus, where we live, is a little bit difficult to get, maybe a little bit expensive. So I would probably, if I didn't have wine, I would just be using a little extra chicken stock or water in this step. So I've scraped up the bottom of the pan. It looks good. This has reduced by about half. And it's time now to throw in the pasta. And the chicken stock. Okay, so I'm reserving some of the chicken stock. Here's the wild card. Your stovetop, your pot, how tight-fitting your lid is, what your settings are. I mean, all of these things are variables in your house. You gotta watch this. The first couple times you make it, you gotta watch it. You've gotta see how quickly the pasta cooks based on your temperature settings and how much liquid it uses. So I'm gonna come back at about 10 minutes. I'm gonna bring this up to a simmer. I'm gonna put the lid on. I'm gonna come back in about 10 minutes. I'm gonna look at it, give it a stir, and then probably add a little bit more liquid. That's why people have taken to calling this the risotto method. Those little adjustments during cooking. Okay, lid on. Okay. Oh, that's looking good. So now I'm going to put in the frozen peas and the broccoli. And we're going to cook it for maybe another 5 minutes. Frozen peas really don't need anything except to be warmed through. And I kind of like the broccoli to have a little bit of crispness to it. I don't want it to be mush. So, lid back on. Okay, last step. Well, almost the last step. We're going to put a little bit of cream in here, just to bring up some of the sauce. And I'm using 35% cream. You could use half and half. You could use regular milk. Don't have to if you don't want to at all. So just stir that in and it will, oh, it's hot. And it will immediately start to sauce. You've got a lot of starch in here because we cooked the pasta in the liquid in the pot. So that'll thicken up really quickly. This is the last step. A little bit of hard cheese over top. I'm using Pecorino because I like Pecorino and it's always in the fridge, but it could be Parmesan if Parmesan is what you like.
Hey,
Jules?
friends? Ooh, fork, spoon.
Spoon. I'm gonna go with a spoon.
You know the spoon? You want a big
Yeah.
pasta spoon? I
Yeah.
see one right there at the top. Oh, I didn't get a matching set.
That's okay.
Oh, got all the right flavors. Some vegetables.
Mmm.
You going for comfort food today?
Mm-hmm. I really like that. So it's any protein, any spicing, any vegetables. Really all you need to worry about is your ratio of pasta to liquid. And you can go a little light on the liquid at the beginning. Just come back at 5 minutes, give it a stir, add a little more liquid if it needs it. It's really simple.
It's got a nice bite to it. What have you got in there for spicing this time?
It's mostly just the sausage. So that's the PC hot Italian sausage.
It's got a little bite to it.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. I think the broccoli.
Thanks for dropping by. See you again soon.